All of us, all diabetics, we say, why is it so high today? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Hi guys, and thanks for coming back to watch another Diabeteric video. My name is Katie, and today we're going to talk about high blood sugars that are unexplained. We've all had them. I think it's inevitable in a type 1 diabetic's life to have a high blood sugar that you can't pinpoint a reason why. We've all had them from eating too much, or, that's another story. But this is when we feel like we're doing everything we can, we're doing everything right, and we still have high blood sugars. Okay, what do you do? And again, I'm not a doctor for all of you who are new here, but I have had type 1 diabetes for over 32 years. So this is what I do. And hopefully some of the tricks that I do can help you figure out your high blood sugars and how to bring them back into range. Okay, so the first thing I do is I rule out anything that might be medical or something that I'm not doing in my daily life. For example, hormones. Okay, men can have hormone fluctuations too, but women is basically, we're going to have hormone fluctuations every month up until a certain age. And those really play a lot of havoc on your blood sugar levels. So, okay, if I'm not hormonal, what else could it be that's causing my high blood sugars? Well, I could be getting an infection. It might be medication that you're taking. A lot of us have to take medication on a daily basis that make us peak at a certain time. Aside from those things, like you're not hormonal, you don't have an infection, you're not taking medication, and your blood sugars are higher than normal. Okay, so what do I do in this situation? Because I do get in this situation, from time to time, quite often actually, not quite often, but a couple times a year maybe. So what I do is I go back to the basics and start tracking everything again. Now remember when you were first diagnosed, your doctors or the dietitian or the nurse, whoever was your, focus on nutrition, told you about portion control, counting carbohydrates, all of that. Well, my education was back in the day of the food pyramid, and that bottom rung was all grains and carbohydrates, and that's not the way it is today. So if you got your education from the 80s or before, you might need to go and re-educate yourself on the health, not the triangle, the other way to eat. Anyway, so I go back to the basics of weighing food out for portion control and counting carbohydrates. I know it's kind of a boring thing, but it usually only takes me about a week or so to get back on track. So I think the larger percentage of people start increasing their portion size. Some might decrease their portion size. Therefore, they might be having too many lows. However, I think the general population starts expanding their portion size. So we start off weighing something. Maybe it's 4 ounces of protein, right? And we start eyeballing it. And then our 4 ounces starts becoming 4.5 or 5 ounces. Not such a big problem when it's protein, unless you have a protein limitation. However, with carbohydrates, that could really account for a lot of high blood sugars that, we're not sure why they're there, and that's why they're there. For example, a piece of toast that I might have for breakfast every single morning might be 15 carbohydrate grams. And if my ratio is 1 unit for 15 carbohydrate grams, then I'm taking 1 unit to cover that toast. But maybe I change bread. Maybe that new bread is a little bit bigger, and maybe it has 17 carbohydrate grams instead of 15. And that, along with my portion of fruit, for example, that I think I'm giving myself 1 serving of fruit, which is another 15 carbohydrate grams. Maybe I'm eyeballing it and I'm giving myself 19 carbohydrate grams worth of fruit. And so I'm eyeballing all of this, and I think I need 3 units for breakfast, but maybe I need 4. And an hour and a half or 2 hours after breakfast, my blood sugar is 220 instead of 110, like I want it to be. So these little things can really add up. So this is what I suggest when your blood sugars are running too high and you don't know why, go back to the basics, start weighing your food, start tracking your food. And I'm talking about every single thing you put in your mouth, right? Because maybe I'll be at the office and it's somebody's birthday and they have a tray of cookies out, and I'll take a half a cookie and I won't bolus for it because I do it mindlessly, you know. Or, for example, sugar-free items. I have a candy here that I like to eat. It's similar to a Starburst, but it's sugar-free. It's maybe a little bit smaller. And there's 5 carbohydrate grams in each one of those candies. So if I take 3 or 6 and I'm eating those over an hour working at my computer, I need to take insulin for those. I mean, there's 5 carbohydrates each. That's 3, that's 15 carbohydrate grams. If I ignore that because they're sugar-free, I'm going to run high later on, and that's why. And I might forget to take insulin for those, or when I was on a pen injection thinking I can't take insulin for 5 grams of carbohydrates because, you know, the smallest increment in a pen was 1 unit. Well, then if that's your situation, eat 3 of them and take a unit. Yeah, if that's what your carbohydrate ratio is, or 4, or whatever it is, you need to be able to cover those carbohydrates with your insulin, because if you don't, you're going to run high later, and that's going to be it. But the key isn't how to bolus for your carbohydrates in this video. The key is finding out why your blood sugars are running high so you can take action on it. So this is what I go back to. Going back to the basics, getting a food diary, whether it be by hand or an application that you use on your smartphone. Start weighing your food again, really reconsider the portion sizes that you're eating compared to the reality of the portion sizes, and just bring yourself back to base. So there it is. That's what I do, and it almost always gets me back on track and lets me know where those unexpected or unexplainable high blood sugars are coming from. So hopefully you're not having unexplained high blood sugars, but if you are, hopefully this video can help you. If you do different things to help figure out what your unexplained high blood sugars might be coming from, please leave it in the comments below, because all different types of diabetics work differently, and any kind of advice you could give this community can possibly help one person, and that's the goal here at Diabeteric, to help all, or at least help one. So hopefully you liked this video and you learned something. If so, give us a thumbs up. It really helps our channel here. And if you like the content and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell icon so you'll be notified every time we put up more content. And thanks for watching and supporting us here at Diabeteric. And let's all be Diabeterics together. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.